Let's wait for another 1 to 2 minutes, and I will be starting off with the class. Is my voice audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
My voice is audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it slow?
No, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, morning. Okay, so the whiteboard is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes.
we will start off from where we have left. That day the meeting got closed due to that, like the time was over. So I will once start off from where I have left so that it will be easier for you to recapitulate and understand. So that day we were studying about the big O notation, right? We were studying about the big O notation. And in big O notation, we just learned that if there is any function fn which is always lower bounded by another function, হ্যাঁ আমি একটু ক্লাসে আছি পরে কথা বলছি, there is always a function fn which is guided by another function that is bounded by some other function, such that there exists a positive constant c and there exists a positive constant n0, such that for one particular value of n0, that is for other values of n which are greater than n0, this equation will always be true, right? So we were solving the sum that we were asked that show that 4n square is equal to order of n cube. Now, if we were asked to prove like this in our examination, first we need to see that whether these two conditions, that is, this condition is true or not, and in order to be this condition true, I need to find out that whether I have a value of C. Okay, one thing, everyone write your name and dash and your department in the chat box. I am not sure whether the LMS is up or not yet, so that I will be giving this attendance from here. Okay, write in the chat box. So then I need to find out a value of C and I need to find out a value of N0. If I find out a value of C and I successfully find out a value of N0, putting which in my equation is giving me true result, then I will say that yes, this thing can be written or this thing can be justified. So my equation was I needed to prove that this is my thing. So I will consider this to be my Fn and I will consider this to be my Gn. Only this, order of Gn. The equation was order of Gn. So I will write my equation like this. Right? So since I need to find the value of C, I need to keep this side free. so that I will do all the permutation combinations. That is, I will take whatever is written in this side, I will take it to this side, so that I on this right side I can only have the constant c, so that it is easier for me to find out the value of this constant. So if I do that, so this side I need to keep it free of n cube. So if I divide this side by n cube, then only I will be left with c, that is free of any other integers. So this side also it is divided by n cube, this side also it is divided by n cube. So if I divide the entire relationship by n cube, 0 by n cube will give us 0, 4n square by n cube will leave us 4 by n, and cn cube by n cube will give us c, right? So now I have got this as my equation. So I have getting a idea that if my value of c is greater or equal to this equation, then I will have positive constant values for c. Now, if I take the value of n to be 1, so 4 by n, this equation will be converted to 4 by 1 and it will give me 4. If I take the value of n to be 2, so 4 by 2 will give me the equation 2. If I take n to be 3, so 4 by 3 will give me
Mom,
1 point something like this. So I am seeing that when I am increasing the value of n from 1 to 2 to 3, my overall value is decreasing. So this cannot be. So I need to take this value of n. Why? Because for this value of n, this equation had the largest one, right? So my value of c will be the value when I put n to be 1. So when I put n to be 1, my c becomes 4, and since n is equal to 1, so n0 has been derived as 1. So I got one positive constant value of c, I got another positive constant value of n0, and I started assuming that this equation is, it is like acceptable. If I am putting it in the equation in the form of big O notation, it is acceptable. So after substituting, I am getting one value of c and one value of n0, which are positive constants. So yes, I can prove that this equation is true. That is 4n square can be written as order of n cube. Now,
এগুলো না কেমন কি ব্যাপার?
now this uh, now this thing you may be surprising to see that I have written it as 4n square. So I could have just taken as order of n square. 4n square will give me order of n square. Then why am I writing n cube? So see, this is basically an assumptions. The first thing which I have told when I was explaining these asymptotic notations, that some assumptions are made in order to derive something. It may or may not be true always, but it is seen that since one thing is there, if this is one true, if it is true for n square, it may be true for n cube, may be true for n4, it may be. But when we get one value, we do not look for other values. So in this equation, something was there maybe. So the scientist thought that whether I can say that it is order of n cube. So in order to say, examine and prove that it is in order of n cube, I need to follow these steps. That is, I need to put it in the formula of big O notation. So by putting, if I get that it has satisfied my formula of big O notation, then fine. It can be proved as the order of n cube, not an issue. So now is this big O notation concept somewhat clear to you all? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if you see that, 1 minute. Now, this big O notation, it has a lot of categories. Like categories, we mean, suppose there is constant time algorithms which runs in order of constant time. There are linear time algorithms which learns like this. There are logarithmic time algorithms which have this type of complexities. There are polynomial time complexity algorithms which will have the value of like this, where k can have value always greater than 1. Then there can be exponential type of algorithms for which there be something like this. So this is constant, this is linear, this is logarithmic, this is polynomial, this is exponential. So whatever the format of equations will come, likewise we will be computing and we will be describing our big O notation or big omega notation or big theta notations like this. Okay. So suppose if my value of n is, suppose my value of n is 1, then what will be the value of order of 1? 1. What will the value of order of n? I will put 1 in place of n. 1. What will be the value of order of log n? Log 1 is 1, so 1. What will be the value of order of n to the power k? So if the value of k is 1, n to the power 1 is 1. So like this. So these are the formats which we have got over the years of thesis, that if there are polynomial equations, it generally takes this form. It is if of exponential equations, it generally takes this form. If it is of logarithmic
मैम log
equations,
1 0 होगा ना?
log 1.
0 होगा ना मैम?
Right. Sorry. So over the years, it is seen that if it is of this formats, these are the formats generally used in order that when we put our equations, we get certain type of values. Now depending on what value of n the user is providing, or the scientist or the research scholar he is taking, he will give somewhat values approximate to these values, but always it may not be the case, because this basic thing of abstract data type, it stands on the basis of assumptions. Few things are assumed. So assumptions or approximation values can never always be 100% right, but still we calculate it since we want to get a certain idea that what my values are. Okay. Now, if I am studying about this big O notation, I need to understand that there are some limitations also. For this big O notations, there are some limitations as well. What can be the limitations? The limitations are that it is very much difficult for many algorithms to analyze it mathematically. So this mathematical analyzation, it is easier for easier algorithms, but there may be many such algorithms which are developed over the years of time, or which are still in progress to be developed. It may not be so simply it cannot be so simply determined that it is in order of something. It may happen. And another thing is this information, it may not be sufficient to calculate the behavior of an algorithm. So in the average case, it doesn't calculate the behavior, it will calculate the behavior in the worst case. So it definitely tells us about an idea about how my algorithm grows with the size of the problem, this input size, but it may not always determine that how much efficient my algorithm is. That means the programming effort which I am putting it may not always calculate, because I am always interested about this n value, right? N is the input size, but in only everything in when I will code something, everything is it related to my input size? No, I am putting some effort, effort is done in correcting those errors and all these things. So everything is not limited to only the input size of any problem. So these limitations it has, it doesn't always take into account the programming effort one is putting it. And also you may say one classic problem is, suppose there is order of n square and there is order of 1000 n square. Now when I will take the big O notation, as per the big O notation, both the algorithm have the same complexity, that is order of n square. Why? Because I avoid this constant. but in real time it is a serious problem, because something in the order of n square and something in the order of 1000 n square, it is very much known to us that both the things are not same, because when I want to put 1000 to the and n square entries, the time taken in order to input n square entries as inputs by the user, and the time taken in order to do 1000 n square inputs, the both the things cannot be same. But ideally it is thought that both of them in the language of this algorithm it is same, but in real life it is seen it is not the same. So these are the drawbacks of these systems or these asymptotic notations, but still we learn this because it is seen that definitely in order to find out the efficiency or the what will I say, the order of any algorithm, this basic knowledge about this big O notation, omega theta are needed, and this basic knowledge only forms the base when we try to decipher some new value of order. Suppose I am inventing one algorithm. It may happen I am doing some research on trying to find out a new algorithm. There I will have to find out the order. That order may not be big O, big theta, big omega. It may be some other thing. Okay. But I need to apply these basic formulas in order to find out. That is, these are the basic formulas. That is why instead of having these limitations, we are studying this topic. Okay. So is this thing clear?
मैम ये टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी को सेकंड में नहीं दिखा सकते हैं?
है ना सेकंड में कैसे दिखाएगा? सेकंड में एक प्रोग्राम कितना टाइम लेगा एग्जीक्यूट करने में, ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है सेकंड्स में। टाइम सेकंड में इसलिए सेकंड में दिखाएगा, ऑर्डर में दिखाता है। तुम्हारे इनपुट साइज के ऑर्डर में हमेशा दिखता है। देन any type of algorithm, if you refer to any book, any thesis, anything, any type of algorithm, it will always be in the order of the input size. There need to be some relationship. Suppose तुम्हारा you have one algorithm, you have one program, it is a calculator to take real integers, and it will do the calculation according to the operator you use, and it will give you the output. Now suppose you are giving decimal values to that algorithm. Is it true? It should not be the case.
क्लास
This
खत्म हो
calculator was built to work with integer values, whole numbers, and you are giving it some decimal values. But you are calculating that my algorithm is not working, by it is giving me some garbage values, some incorrect results. So you are calculating in basis of time. So should it be the case? It should not be the case. So the relation should always be with the input size which is defined. So input type, input size, everything needs to be matched. Whether I am giving the correct input or not, that needs to be also be checked. बस टाइम कितना लेगा कंपाइलर रन होने में, एंड कितना टाइम लेगा नहीं लेगा, उससे हम लोग को आंसर नहीं होता है. We need to draw a formula, draw a relationship with all the things we do. So everything needs to be in place. Then only we decipher something. So this order should be in respect to the input we are giving. इनपुट देने में टाइम कितना लग रहा है घड़ी देख के, उससे नहीं पता चलेगा. That is not the basis of any knowledge.
हाँ
ठीक है. So the next thing is omega notation.
कौन अस्पताल में?
मैम ये माइक ऑफ करवा दीजिए ना, बहुत आवाज आ रहा है.
कर रहे. Okay. So just like we learned the big O notation, it gave me a tight upper bound. Upper bounds means it gave me the worst case scenario. That means in the worst case scenario, no input can take any time longer than this value, whatever we will get by doing the order of. So इससे worst time होगा ही नहीं. So it gave me an upper bound. Omega will just do the opposite. Omega notation will give me a lower bound. and when I do the lower bound I get the best case. बेस्ट केस में हमेशा सबसे कम टाइम में हमें मिल जाता है, राइट? सो बेस्ट केस सिनेरियो स्टैंड्स विद ओमेगा नोटेशन. सो it gives me a lower bound for any function, right? So suppose if I draw like what I have drawn for this theta, suppose I draw it for omega, okay? So you can see for some value of n0, after this value of n0 for higher values, this function fn is always above this another function. And in the big O case, this function was above always. So in the big O notation, this function fn was lower bounded by the upper bound of this function. But in case of omega, this function is upper bounded by this function. So this is the lower bound function. Okay. So here the formula will just be the opposite. It is always greater than or equal to Cgn for any value of n which is higher than this n0, and for a positive constant C which is greater than 0. So this is the rule for big O notation, and for omega notation, and for big O rotation the rule was just the opposite. So big O notation stands for giving the upper bound, omega notation stands for giving the lower bound. Big O notation stands for the worst case scenario, omega notation stands for the best case scenario. Big O notation, the formula fn was lower by some formula, here it is upper by some formula. मतलब सबसे बेस्ट केस में इससे कम टाइम में होगा नहीं, इसका मतलब ये होता है इट गिव्स द लोएस्ट बाउंड, टाइट लोअर बाउंड. सबसे बेस्ट केस में सर्चिंग ऑफ एन एरे यू विल गेट व्हाट, यू विल गेट the element. If you are searching in the first location, order of 1 should be the first best case. So it means that सबसे अच्छे केस में the lowest time, the lowest number of searches can be one search. One search will give me the item to be searched returned as the first location. It is in the first location. So I will say that 1 is the lower bound. इससे कम सर्च में थोड़ी ना होगा, एक बार तो सर्च करना ही पड़ेगा, एक सेल को सर्च करना ही पड़ेगा. So 1 was the order of 1 was the best case scenario. That is उससे नीचे कभी होगा नहीं, उससे बढ़ के सर्च कुछ हो सकता है, उसका नीचे होगा नहीं. So this is the concept about omega notation. Okay. So suppose for some, let me show it with one example. Suppose I have a function like this and I have a gn like this. So it is asked to me that prove that fn is big omega of this thing. It is asked to me. So once it is asked and I need to prove this, I need to first start with putting in the equations, right? So my equation of finding big omega was this. In this I will put this. Here I will put this, right? Then you tell me what can be probably the value of C and what can be the probably the value of N for this equation always to be true. What can be the value of N0 and what can be the value of C for this equation always to be true. Anyone?
Ma'am, n equal to 1 or c equal to 5.
N equal to 1 and C equal to 5. Fine. Anyone, anything else? If I say N equal to 1 and C equal to 1, will it be true?
Yes, ma'am.
It is true, na? So
Yes,
I will
yes, ma'am.
take the lower values. I won't be taking the higher values, na? So this is the value I will take. For any higher value for this combination also it may be true, but I will take the lowest possible combination from where it started being true. So if I put for the value of C to be 1, see this equation is always true. 3n plus 2 is greater than n, always true, it will hold. And if I put the value of n also to be 1, this equation will always be true, the lowest one. For higher values of NC, it will be true. It may be true, not an issue. The lowest value from which it started getting to is N1 and C1. So my N0 is 1, C is 1, which is positive constants, which is satisfying my formula. And also it is satisfying the formula of omega. So I can say that, yes, I can say that this function is in the big omega notation of n. I can say that is this function is lower bounded by n. Okay. Now, if one function is lower bounded by n, then that function will be lower bounded by anything lesser than n. That is true. 0.2 also it will have the same value. 0.0001 also it will have the same value. But if we go on finding lower values, then it will be infinite for us to find. We can't do that. So we find the tightest lower bound. And for big O, we find the tightest upper bound. So when in my notes you will see these terms, tightest lower bound, tightest upper bound, will you be able to know? Just in big O, if something is bounded by n square, it will also be bounded anything higher than n square, that is n cube, n to the power 4, that is. But we will give the tightest upper bound, that is from where the upper bound started getting true. And for here, big omega, we will give the tightest lower bound, that is from where the lower bound started getting true. That tightest value we will be giving, right? So is this tight upper bound, tight lower bound concept of big O and big omega, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the last one is theta. Theta is a sandwich thing. That is, one was we studied function is lesser, where other we studied function is higher, and function in between, the average ones, they are represented as big theta. Okay. So suppose my graph will be something like this. I have one function that is like this. This is one. This is another. Suppose this is C1GN. This is C2GN. And in between there is a function like this, Fn. So I will say for some values of n0 and some value for some values of constant c1, c2 which are greater than 0, this function is lower bounded by one function and upper bounded by another function. So this function, it is lower bounded by c2gn and upper bounded by c1gn, right? So if I can put in anything in this type of formula, where I can find out the constants value C1, C2, which is greater than 0, and I can find out the value of N0 as well, right? So if these are true, I can prove, and I can put my equation, and I can, on putting this two ties, I can substitute and find these true values. Then I will say that yes, for this equation, I may write that it follows the big theta order. So big O gives me the worst case scenario, omega gives me the best case scenario, and theta gives me the average case scenario. So these are the worst case, best case, average case concept. But in your books, you may find that everything is denoted in the order of like big O. It is not an issue. Everything can be also be written as order of. This is big O, big omega, big theta. But in the end, everything can be represented just in order of. That is also true. So in your books also, you may find that when you will learn the different algorithms of searching and sorting, you will find that those are explained in order of. So, and one thing more, can anyone say that in real life, in practical life, you are interested in which of these case, best case, worst case, or average case?
बेस्ट केस मैम.
नहीं,
Average.
नहीं. We are
Worst
always
case.
interested in worst case. Now,
Worst
why
case.
is that? I will find out. I will tell you. Whenever we are interested in something, you first see what is the worst case scenario. Matlab, if you are inventing one algorithm, you will have to find out what is the worst case possible time this algorithm can take. So if the worst case is acceptable to the client, then only I will say my algorithm is good. Why? Because best case, average case तो उससे कम होगा ही होगा. तो हम लोग तो वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो पकड़ के चलेंगे ना रियल लाइफ में कि वर्स्ट में इतना होगा, उससे बेटर आ गया तो और भी अच्छा है. So we are always interested in finding out the worst case scenario, because if we find out the worst case, I will get an idea कि इससे ऊपर कभी मेरा algorithm टाइम नहीं लेगा. दिस इज द वर्स्ट पॉसिबल केस. कम लेगा तो सही है मेरे लिए. तो अगर ये सबसे खराब टाइमिंग जो लेगा ये अगर एक्सेप्टेबल है, हम जो चीज इन्वेंट कर रहे हैं, तो फाइन, आई विल से दिस एल्गोरिथम इज एक्सेप्टेबल. अगर वो एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है, देन आई विल हैव टू वर्क ऑन माय प्रोसीड्यूर्स. So in real life, we are always interested in finding out the worst case, and this is the reason why you will see everything is denoted in the order of, in order of 1, order of n. Everything is written in order of, and the separate notations, omega, theta, they are not used much, right? And when suppose the best case and worst case may sometimes give us the same result depending on what algorithm we are doing, then we are interested in this theta case, average case. So when the best and worst case give different results, we are not interested in finding out theta. But if they give the same result, then we'll be shifted to finding out the theta case. Now suppose a small example, let us just solve quickly. Few minutes are remaining as my class to the end. Okay. Suppose this is my array. I am doing a searching of an element. So if I do the search, I want to say search 5. How many times will it be searched?
1.
One
One.
time.
So how many comparisons? Only one, right? So this is the best case possible time, that one comparison, and I will denote my best case like this. If I say that search 10 or search 11, how many comparisons will it be required?
6.
6.
6 or 7.
So it is equal to the number of elements I have, right? So the worst case will give us order of n, right? And the average case, what will it give us? Order of, right? And which can
मैम तो ये थीटा n नहीं होगा सिर्फ,
हाँ,
ये थीटा n/2 को थीटा n भी तो लिख सकते हैं ना.
n/2 ही तो होगा. एवरेज में क्या होगा?
हाँ मैम, तो ये कांस्टेंट हट जाएगा ना?
हाँ वही तो लिखने जा रहे, constant हट जाएगा. So more or less this. Now this is the way when you will see different searching and sorting algorithms, you will see these terms: order of, worst case, best case में ये time complexity, worst case में वो time complexity, average में ये time complexity. Now this is the concept from where the time complexity and all the ideas come. This is the concept, the base, how they deliver or how they decipher this time complexities. Because books में तो shortcut में लिखा होगा ना, एक just एक line पढ़ के confuse हो जाओगे आया कैसा है. This is the way they do, this is the way they decipher. So is this concept of asymptotic notations clear to you?
यस मैम.
Okay, so everyone has written down their names in the chat box, name hyphen department. Okay. So I will stop this class today and we will meet in the next class and we will start with a new chapter or new topic in the next class. So this chapter is finished, that is introduction to data structure, and then studying the different asymptotic notations which was there in your module 1. And with the next part of module 1, we will move on to, we will start it in the next chapter or next class. Okay. So thank you so much for attending. Thank you.